Hi, this is my first attempt at trying to show you how to draw a new tangle called Langtree. In a way, it's similar to Muka in that you draw this as a continuous line and keep adding and adding and adding new sections to it. After you have drawn the basic line, then you go back and you put some embellishments in it. The basic unit for building this is what I call the flower. And basically, and I'm using a Identi-pen here. I'm hoping that this is going to have a dark enough point that you can see this. Okay, to do this, basically what I do is I start with a line coming up, and then I come on to the side where the leaf is going to be, and I draw a sort of arrowhead and come back to the stalk and leave a thick stalk and come back to where the stem is. And then, surprise, surprise, instead of going up, I go down. And I hit a U-turn and come up and keep going past where the flower is. And at this point then we would be ready to make the flower on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to move this over and I'm going to attempt to draw two of them in a row to show you how it goes. So again, we're going to start with an upward part of the stem, come off the side, and then draw an expanded arrowhead. Come back on a thick flower stem, then come down, back up, beyond that point, and then I'm going to come off to the left and draw an arrowhead. Come back to where the stem is, and again, I go down to where the last stem, flower stem is. I do a U-turn, and I come on up. So now I have two. I have one here, and I have one here. And this thicker area is going to be part of the flower. It's part of the flower that we get is kind of like a lily, somebody said. And so it's got a long enclosed area. And you just keep going. The next one would come off to the right again. And so we're going to try doing this again and drawing several of them. And then we'll come back and put the embellishments in. And again, I hope you can see this. I'm working with a little 6-inch tripod, and I can't quite get it. Ideally, it would be above the paper looking down instead of at an angle. Okay, so let me start down here, and I'm going to come up, come off to the side, do my arrowhead, back to the main area, down the stem and up the stem, and then come off the left hand side, do my arrowhead, come back to the main stem, go down to the last branch, do a U-turn and come back up, and come off again to the right, do an arrowhead, then down and up, and come off to the left, and do an arrowhead, and down and up. And you can place these flower branches that are coming off as close to each other or as far apart from each other as you wish. But you always go down and up when you get back to the main stem. Okay, now we get up here and we can either just bring it down here and stop, or I will show you a little bit later how to bring it back up and to put a bud spray at the top. Okay, so now we've got 6 what are going to be flowers over here. And we're going to turn them into flowers by coming back and doing the embellishment. And to embellish this, I'm going to come from this point to this point with a curve. Or I could come from this point to this point, come with one that's going to come down the flower stalk, and then on the other side I'll do a kind of like a half of a crescent moon. Okay, so I kind of like the ones that come down into the stem and then a half a crescent moon. And you go ahead and you fill this in. I'm going to fill in some of them with the curves and some of them with the one going down the stalk with a crescent moon. Okay, the only thing that is left now as far as the drawing goes is to put the little stamen in. And I put it in all of them. And you can leave the stamen white, or you can fill it in to make it dark. Or you can put a pattern in it, if you wish. It's all up to you. It's even possible to kind of put a Knightsbridge in it. Sorry, I can't see real good tonight, and so I'm having trouble seeing the little ones. But you can put a pattern in it. All right. The next thing that you would do is to take your pencil and put in a little bit of shading. And there's many different ways of shading this. I like to take and shade all the way around this little stamen. And maybe out to the side a little bit. Okay, and where is there's one. Okay, and then I come in and I use my, in this case it's a tortillon, to do the inside of the flower. Okay, you can also, when you take a look at the stem, coming up the stem, you now have a line going up the middle of the stem. And this line is where the blossoms attach. You can also use that line as a guidance, and you can darken everything on one side of the line. Of course, it depends on where your light is as to which side you would do. And you might also want to put a little bit of shading on the bottom of the flower, the narrow part of the flower. Again, shading is a preference. You don't have to shade. You can shade if you want. You might choose to shade it differently than the way I am shading it now. Okay, but this is my first attempt at showing you how to do, again, Langtree. Whoops. Okay. Thank you.